Hey everyone, my name is Clay Williams and I am on the Workstream team. And today we are going to be talking about On Inc., which is a local running shoe company that focuses on running shoes and really deep diving that process of what that looks like. I'm joined today by our Scrum Master, Max Wills, who will also be a co-presenter in this overall presentation. Members of our team include Christopher Whitcop, Christopher White, myself, Elizabeth White, Gail Wilson, Max Willis, who's also present, Megan Walters, Sean Williams, and Patrick Willis. So let's get into it. So a high-level overview of On Inc. It started as an eco-friendly mind company that really wanted to develop the best shoe possible for all types of runners, regardless if it's recreational or professional. So the main focus between not only the best shoe, but also the eco-friendly minded is because it came from nature lovers who love to run, competitive runners who really wanted to focus on a shoe that was best not only for them, but also their peers. This came to fruition in Switzerland over 11 years ago. And as you can see, we have our three founders that started the On shoe. So really going next into that, On is really based off of the customer experience. Like mentioned before, On is really passionate about delivering the best shoe possible for their customer base, but also their professional base. So to be able to do that, customer feedback, customer centric, and also customer delivery is all key aspects of that core customer experience that On is really focused on, making sure that not only are they delivering a high quality product, but also focusing on how that affects not only the culture that it is within, such as the running culture, but also the physical cultures of where those factories are located and the delivery stations are implementing this product out into the world. All of these attributes go together to build the most customer-centric focused company with the On running shoe at the center of it.
So right here, we're looking at the mission statement, and really the big focus for On is that they want to make a positive, contribution the right way for not only themselves, but as Clay mentioned, but for their peers, for other runners, and then also for the planet, because as we mentioned, they are nature lovers and really are cognizant of the impact of, manufacturing shoes, what that impact has on the environment. And that's why they strive to live and work by 5 guiding spirits, and discover the values that unite and set us apart from the other competitors out there. So On's customer experience process relies heavily on technology like Salesforce to drive efficient business processes, to really capture the customer experience that sets them apart from their competitors. And some of those main concerns, for the customer experience is the ease of use for consumers looking to purchase online. Um, you know, Big part of that is, the ability to navigate the website and searchability for the right shoe. And then proper inventory. So it's real critical that inventory is accurate, and they're able to locate the shoe that they're wanting to make that purchase. And then also economies of scale. So as I mentioned, Salesforce as the process to reach the customer. Salesforce is a cloud-based software CRM, and they aim to help companies better manage the customer data, which will result in the increased sales, which helps companies like On hit their key performance indicators, and integrate the business functions with that customer data. In addition, Salesforce is also successful with forecasting, allowing On to focus on the customer needs directly into the system. There's no brick and mortar or middle process. The information is directly attributed to Salesforce. And it offers a foundation of services known as metadata, so where the effective parts interface for product development within just the On space. So customer experience in Salesforce is used for ON's operation management, and it helps support that customer relationship and manage the customer relationship. It includes the built-in reports, as you can see, just like this dashboard breaks down the different metrics, as I mentioned, the KPIs. So for product manufacturing and distribution, the advertising, and then the customer preferences. So there's a very agile link between what the customer is, what they're wanting, what they're making purchases for, so that ON can make those adjustments and focus on the products that are performing well. And then the CRM landscape does offer that real-time view of purchases and demand, and then also that time to market, which is critical, as the landscape for the running shoe industry does change. It allows ON to respond quickly to those changes. And then it also helps ON to discover new businesses. So if there's newer technology, they can apply it sooner than later with this CRM. And so as you can see here, there are different layers for Salesforce. As you can see in the diagram, the architecture, you have your multi-tenant, metadata, and API. The different layers of Salesforce communicate with one another. It links the 2,200 plus partner software programs and creates APIs. And so today, cloud-based Salesforce architecture handles all of the infrastructure and maintenance, which does eliminate the overhead. ON's not having to focus on managing a means to store the data. They're using this cloud source to just focus on what they're good at, and that's making shoes. So business process, Salesforce key attributes. So the customer navigates the online website. There's more variety online versus in stores. The multi-tenant approach allowing multiple users. The data is safeguarded. There are security measures in place to protect the users. And then started as a CRM system, but now is a software as a service. And there's predictive intelligence within the Salesforce, and then custom apps, and then marketing tools that are specific for ON's needs. So now we'll dive into the Porter's 5 forces. So when we think about ON, these are some of the key things to consider with Porter's 5 forces. So there are low barriers for entering the market, and really when we think about shoes, there are not a ton of government regulations that make it hard for a new industry or not a new industry, but a new entrant to come to the market. They are sold in retail stores and online. Can't afford to discount, but does offer free shipping. Low threat of a substitute. So for ON, the technology for the shoe is very unique, and in some cases custom to the customer. So we do have that low threat of substitute, but there are high threat of similar companies. So there are competitors out there that ON would have to watch closely. Considering ON's technology, they are innovative. And then buyer's entry is moderate price sensitivity. It is a higher end shoe, but the variable to consider is that the customer is going to make this purchase probably a few times a year, and so to maintain that relationship with the incumbent customer would be a point to consider for ON. Suppliers' power is low. Substitute suppliers are plentiful. There are many suppliers out there to get the materials that are needed. And then rivalry's power is high because there are shoes out there that do have lower price points that may emulate what ON has to offer, may have some of the same attributes. So that is something that ON does have to be mindful of. But to combat that, On has been backed by athletes supporting their apparel. So problems and concerns, when we think about, the information system, there are bug issues, system recovery, port congestion, factory shutdowns, labor shortages, obviously the pandemic as we experienced, global supply chain, and then shipping delays. And these are a lot of, as you can see, are external factors that do impact On's ability to deliver. On is tackling these problems through several ways, as you can see. So engaging in ethical sourcing, so not going after sweatshops, but using sources that are ethical. Partnerships with different sources. Having performance requirements, so there's a quality assurance measure to ensure that the products are, because they are higher end, and we, as we've shown in the mission statement, biggest concern is to have a really high quality running shoe, and then also be mindful to the environment. As I mentioned, with the avoid the overworked, stressed labor workers, again, avoiding any type of source that would violate those concerns, and then having social and environmental standards, and then also conducting audits, so going to the source and seeing what the conditions look like, performing an audit of their processes.
Yes, so thank you, Max. Looking back into the future, we also have to look back into the past. So looking at that 2020 and 2021 pandemic that really heavily impacted a lot of the globe, really shut down a lot of On's operations. This causing a supply demand and supply shortages within the US specifically. Like previously mentioned, all of On is based out of Switzerland. So that's also where all of their production is mainly focused at, and most of their shipping is shipped to distribution centers within the United States. Looking at the beginning of Q1 and Q2 of 2022, On was able to heavily stock up their overall demand with their most popular shoes, but also some of their more visual shoes for specific athletes and specific athletic programs. With building in those additional stockpiles of inventory, they are able to predict a high exportation of their Q4 earnings of 2022. So continuing looking at their overall development as a company in the US, they are coming back from this pandemic very strong, and really focusing on those Q4 holiday sales, wrapping up the end of this year. So the On goal, the goal is to revolutionize running for runners, and this is what On has been focused on ever since their very beginning. They were able to create an award-winning shoe with their trademarked CloudTec technology. This refers back to the previous Porter's 5s, how On is able to build this really unique product that is specifically focused on them. Not other companies can replicate this exact technology due to its right of patent. However, there are that competitive aspects, but On's goal is to really focus on continuing to focus on that one cloud aspect of that On shoe, and continue to develop that top-notch quality product for the runners, their customers, and also continuing to expand globally with this as well. Today, On shoes can be found in more than 60 countries globally, and continuously expanding as we peer into Q1 of 2023. So there's multiple different attributes that go into Salesforce within the US. So the architecture contains a series of layers that allow for customers to interact within On, but also receive that product in exchange as well. So since Salesforce is based into the cloud, there is very quick reception between the customer and the website and the ordering process to really get that free shipping and within a timely manner delivery of their product. So you're able to see during this model all of those different attributes such as social, mobile, analytics, and cloud that all coincide into multiple different layers of the Salesforce platform. Including their API all the way down to their app, right into the direct customer focused aspect of Salesforce. So moving on into the critical success factors, there's three main critical success factors with Salesforce that imply within ON. So you have the customer interface. So this is where that customer is interacting with a product, both physically and also virtually. So this includes the app, this includes online sale retailers, not only on website, but also the retailers that carry on, but also allow that quick information of data and data collection to really understand what the customer is looking at and what the customer is heavily focused on, interested in purchasing frequently. The next part is the ON intake, or the order intake for ON, which is really where that customer relations intertwine with. This is since Salesforce is based off in the cloud, we are able to receive real-time updates. It is very structured, which gives us a lot of information and data to connect with the distribution centers, and then also tracks sales trends, and then also locational demand. Really making sure that the right products are in the right area for that quicker turnaround, resulting in a higher customer experience, which always influx the brand's image. And then finally is that distribution efficiency, which really takes that customer interface and that order intake into the full trend. So the distribution efficiency is able to track in records of sales, potential sales, but also high demand orders. Make sure that those ON shoes are within the exact location that they are needed, and also able to quickly transmit all of these items into other locations depending on need, and then also mitigates that risk. Higher efficiency of distribution is going to overall lower that risk of an unsatisfied customer, but also that unsatisfied product. Moving from there, lessons learned. So several lessons that we learned with Salesforce specifically was the customer interface, order intake process, and distribution efficiency, which is where we were able to build those critical success factors. So Salesforce is a cloud-based operation system, or information system, apologies, which means a quicker and more effective interface for customers. And also Salesforce provides needed operational management. So really connecting between that customer and that operation time to really make sure that the best product is not only being shipped out, but at the highest quality that ON stands for within their core values. Some of the drawbacks that we also learned is on supply chain is all done primarily in Asia. So though this is a company based out of Switzerland, a lot of their product is being built into that the Asian infrastructure due to that available working demand. So that means all of their product does have to be shipped, and you have a lot of that information and additional costs of that shipping process. So Salesforce comes within that to give them real-time updates of where these products need to be shipped based off distribution, but also making sure that the orders are going to be completed on time and in a timely manner. Materials is very cheap for this overall process. However, labor shortages could cause an issue for ON supply chain. As ON continues to grow and develop, so does their workforce. And so making sure that there is a proper connection between the two. So new innovation. So ON has started to look into products to develop the minimum environmental impact as possible, but also they are looking at constraints of the shoes within the recycled material area. So taking in that recyclable plastics, recyclable fiber, recyclable cloth, and really build that into their shoe to not only make it a more effective shoe on a distribution aspect, but also a more effective shoe for the environment. So really focusing on that cheaper cost, recycled cost, but also the high quality of a product. So the team has concluded on a couple recommendations. So Salesforce is a great tool that meets ON's growing business, especially since it's in a cloud-based focus. So continuing to focus on updating the overall process within Salesforce, but also taking in that new technology that the company is able to offer ON and really develop a better customer-facing interface. We also recommend that ON implements the latest updates and investing in Salesforce architecture. So reinvesting not only their time in what ON provides for them, but also what we are able to provide, or ON is able to provide for Salesforce. So investing in the people that are investing within yourself. And then finally, ON takes a lot of time to fix a lot of their internal issues, mainly that customer-facing focus. ON is based out of Berlin with their IT department. So we are suggesting that ON invests into artificial intelligent technology to really start to be able to perform those bug fixes and the overall website development on a real-time self-growing basis, rather than depending on a 24-hour turnaround based off of employee location. So with that, we are at time. So thank you for joining us, and we hope that you really take this back with ON running shoots.